The Chinese J-10C 4+ generation fighter has been credited with achieving a simulated shootdown of a J-20 5th generation fighter during air-to-air combat exercises, according to reports from multiple Chinese state media outlets. J-10C pilot Xiao Nan was operating with support from a KJ-500 Airborne early warning and control system, which carries one of the largest and most powerful airborne radars in the world. This provided greater situational awareness against stealth targets, thereby leveling the playing field against the J-20, which has advanced radar evading capabilities. The J-10C pilot simulated an air-to-air missile launch against the J-20 but lost contact with the target afterward. He then requested support from the KJ-500, which enabled the missile to reach its target. A J-16D electronic attack aircraft also participated in the exercise and may have played a key role in jamming the J-20's sensors to prevent it from shooting down the J-10C before it was itself targeted. This engagement marked the first time in the history of the Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force that a 4th-generation fighter achieved a simulated victory against a 5th-generation fighter. However, Chinese experts have widely acknowledged that such a result would not have been possible without the deployment of supporting aircraft to enhance the J-10C's position. The J-20 fleet has, for years, been assigned to help Chinese fighter units train in counter-stealth tactics. Abraham Abrams, a leading expert on the J-20 program and author of China's Stealth Fighter, the J-20 Mighty Dragon and the Growing Challenge to Western Air Dominance, noted that geographically distributing 5th-generation units widely ensured there were opportunities for fighter units across all theater commands to train against stealth fighters. Abrams elaborated in his book that the J-20 has engaged the Air Force's most capable 4th-generation fighter, the J-16, in multiple exercises. Even when its stealth features were nullified, such as by using Lundberg reflective lenses, the J-20 has consistently proven capable of outperforming 4th-generation fighters. Under such conditions, however, engagements with J-16s have sometimes been highly protracted. The J-10C and J-16 were both developed in parallel with the J-20 and share many of the same technologies. The J-16 is the largest of the three and carries a significantly more powerful radar, while the J-10C is by far the lightest, with a shorter range and smaller sensor suite. Although the J-20 retains clear superiority over both, the J-10C has achieved impressive results in multiple past exercises. In 2020, the fighter was reported to have consistently outperformed Russian-supplied Su-35 fighters during mock combat in China, and it has repeatedly demonstrated the ability to go head-to-head with the J-16. As a result, it is considered one of the 2 most capable single-engine fighter classes in the world, alongside the American F-35. The J-10C gained major international attention following its first-ever combat engagement in early May 2025, where it was credited with the shootdown of at least 1 French-supplied Rafale operated by the Indian Air Force, and possibly up to 4 of the highly expensive French aircraft. Although European fighters were not considered capable of operating on par with their modern Chinese and American counterparts, France had invested heavily in promoting the Rafale over 2 decades. This made its overwhelming defeat by a much lighter aircraft in its first air-to-air engagements particularly damaging to the reputation of France's aviation industry. There is speculation that, amid renewed efforts to market the J-10C for export, including to countries like Colombia, Indonesia, Egypt, and Iran, a simulated engagement between the J-10C and the J-20 may have been staged under conditions that favored the J-10C. Supporting the J-10C with the KJ-500 and J-16D, and potentially imposing certain limitations on the J-20, could have allowed the lighter fighter to secure a symbolic victory that would further highlight its advanced capabilities. Given that the J-20 is widely regarded as the most capable air superiority fighter currently in service, a shootdown by a J-10C, even under highly favorable circumstances, is expected to enhance the reputation of the lighter fighter. However, it is widely acknowledged that without such support, an engagement would be heavily one-sided in favor of the J-20. The realism of the scenario remains in question, especially considering that aircraft like the KJ-500 would likely be priority targets for J-20 units and are particularly vulnerable at long ranges due to their large size and lack of maneuverability. This raises the possibility that the exercise may have been structured in a way that prevented the J-20 from neutralizing the KJ-500 before it engaged the J-10C. Much about the scenario will likely remain undisclosed, but the timing of the exercise, coinciding with a push to market the J-10C for export, has raised suspicions, especially when considering the consistent and overwhelming superiority the J-20 has demonstrated in previous exercises. That's all for today's update. Please subscribe and like this video.